Welcome to episode 1 of Learn Laravel the Easy Way. Learn Laravel the Easy Way is a YouTube series from Code with Fungo on how to build web apps and RESTful APIs using the Laravel framework. Throughout this series, we're going to be looking at the following topics. We're going to look at what is Laravel, why use the Laravel framework, the Laravel community, the prerequisites which you need to learn the Laravel framework, how to set up your environment, the Laravel file system, routing, and views. So this first section is going to be for beginner level. Now, advanced concepts which are going to be looked at includes database concepts and configuration, migrations, seeders and factories, Eloquent ORM, CRUD operations, Eloquent relationship, authentication middleware, job emailing, testing third-party packages, and finally building a RESTful API using the Laravel framework. At the end of this course, in order for us to be able to be sure that we have the necessary skills that the course has impacted in us, we are going to build a simple real-world project, and this project is going to be called Samaritan. Samaritan is going to be a basic application, web application that help people who want to donate food items, dresses, shoes, bags, furniture, and those things which they don't need or they have in excess to those who are in need. Let's dive straight into the first section. Now, the first question you ask yourself, what is the Laravel framework? And we have here a definition. The Laravel framework is a free and open source PHP framework created by Taylor Otwell. If you look at it down there, Taylor Otwell, that is the creator of Laravel, and it's a free and open source. Free and open source means that the code is available for the public. The public can actually contribute to it. Maybe if you see that, okay, Laravel is missing something, you can actually add code to it. So it is free and it is open source, and it's built on top of the PHP programming language. And this framework is intended to develop web application using the MVC architectural pattern, and is based on the Symfony framework. So we're going to look more into what the MVC architecture pattern means subsequently. Now, how popular is the Laravel framework? If you look at statistics from 2020 up to 2021, you will see that Laravel rates as the top most used framework, PHP framework for web development, with a total of 65k stats and 20k forks, and it's actually increasing. So you can find Laravel on GitHub. If you just go to GitHub and search for Laravel, you will find it, and you can also contribute code to the core. But this will be for advanced people who already have basic knowledge of Laravel and PHP. Now, why should you learn Laravel? We have about 8 or 10 reasons why you should learn Laravel. The first thing is Laravel follows the MVC architecture. Now, with the MVC architecture, there is what we call separation of concerns. There is the separation of the view. That's what the user sees, the beautiful interface which the user sees. It's different from the controller. The controller is what does the business logic, and it's different from the model. The model is where the data is stored. So for example, you can get a theme from Theme Forest, from Code Canyon, or a front-end developer can build you a theme. You take the theme and integrate it into your Laravel project, and then a database administrator can design you a database model, and then you can plug it into the Laravel system. And in case you don't need it, you can always remove and add what is needed. So that separation of concern makes it really easy to plug new interfaces and data model. So this is a sample of how MVC works. So when a user types a URL, it first of all sends it to a route. The route will ask, okay, what is the user looking for? And it sends it to the controller. The controller pulls any data from the database where necessary, and then renders a view, which the view is what is displayed on the screen. Now, next part of why should you learn Laravel is Laravel has a built-in authentication and authorization system. This ships out of the box. So with just a few commands, you can actually create the login, register, password reset, email verification, as well as two-factor authentication. A lot of other frameworks don't actually come with these features. So if you look on your right, you have PHP Artisan UI View Auth. So that is creating the authentication part using the Vue.js framework. You can actually create it with Vue.js, Bootstrap, or React. So that comes really easy for you to do. So you won't need how to code how a user will have to log in, but then you can modify, of course. But the underlying framework of how a user logs in, user creates an account, password reset, email verification, and others, it's already there with just these few commands. Now, next on why you should use the Laravel framework for your web development is the packaging system. Laravel supports and integrates with different softwares and libraries. For example, if you look at the right screen there, it integrates there with Amazon Web Service easily. So in case you want that on your platform, when a user uploads the image, it should save it on Amazon Web Services S3 bucket. You can easily integrate with it there. You might also want to do authentication with Facebook, Twitter, Google, and maybe GitHub. You can actually have packages, Laravel Social that helps you to do that. Image processing, resizing images, you can use the intervention packages, and also SEO. You can actually use the SEO to help your site get recognized or get used. Point 4. Laravel has an Artisan CLI. An Artisan CLI is simply a command line interface that helps a command line interface tool that helps you to be able to power your development server easily. So if you see on the right, it says PHP Artisan Self will help you to power your server easily. And also, that's not all. It helps you to be able to do coding faster by generating template files. You might want to generate a controller, you might want to generate a model, an email template. This is very easily done with the Artisan CLI. The next part is Eloquent ORM. Rather than writing raw queries on Laravel to filter data or pull data from MySQL, Laravel gives you access to an Eloquent ORM. It's easy and simple database management part. So with ORM, you can map a class, which you create an object to a database table. So if rather than writing select star from users, that is raw SQL, you can just say user starting method call all. So this will pull all the users from your system without you necessarily need to write raw SQL queries. Next part is the templating engine. The templating engine creates a beautiful and dynamic layouts, and the code is very maintainable. So rather than writing just normal echo and for each for PHP, you can use the Blade templating engine, and the syntax is very simple and easy to understand. Next part is automatic task scheduling and queues. Now, you might want to perform periodic tasks like sending email marketing campaigns and cleaning up your system. Laravel gives you this ability. If you look at the command on the right, top right, it says clean inactive users. So this command will, this job that you're scheduling will clean all inactive users at 1 a.m. every day. And if you look at it down also, you can schedule a task to remind clients to check out. So for example, if you have an add to cart option where users have an email, so when a user adds to cart, maybe if you can put it up that after 24 hours or after 48 hours of an inactive card, you send an email reminder to the user so the user can complete his or her checkout process. Now, number 8 on the list is automatic and unit testing. Most of the times when code is being written, you will need to test manually the whole application to be sure that all the parts works. But then with Laravel, it ships out of the box with PHP unit testing framework. So if you can see that we have a function on a class that tests if the home page works. It's as simple as that. We're going to look deeply into that subsequently. Then number 9, Laravel is open source. Yes, open source meaning it's open to the public, but then you might feel like it is not secure. Laravel, though, is very secure. It uses the bcrypt to hash passwords so that even if your database is compromised, your users' passwords are kept intact. And it's also been tested and validated against major web attacks such as SQL dependency injection as well as cross-site request forgery. The last part is last part on why you should learn Laravel is the easy documentation and low barrier of entry. If you go to laravel.com/docs, you will see the documentation is pretty easy to use. It shows you how to set up your environment, how to install on Mac, Windows, Linux, Sales Server, and even using Docker environment to set up. And the documentation is really easy, a very easy search powered by Argolia, where you can search for concepts which you will need, and it has a host of tutorials both here on YouTube, on Udemy, and on various platforms like FreeCodeCamp and all. Laravel is not just one platform, it has a whole community around it. It has a lot of packages around it. A few includes the Laravel blog, the Laravel news, Laravel jobs, where you can have information about jobs that are posted for Laravel, Laravel forum, and Laravel certification, which helps you to get certified as a Laravel developer. There's Laracast, which is a tutorial platform also, which gives you a lot of access to content. It's a free and paid plan. There's Laracon EU and Laracon AU, which are the flagship conferences for the Laravel development community. What are the prerequisites which you will need in order for you to start learning the Laravel framework? You have three main things. You need to have a background in computer programming, at least the basics of computer programming, with a strong knowledge in object-oriented programming. And also you should be able to code in PHP. If you don't have any of this, or if you're missing in one of these, that's not a problem. You can actually find other courses on YouTube or Udemy which will teach you the basics of computer programming and basics of PHP and object-oriented PHP. But this course doesn't cover that. Now, they are nice to have things. If you're coming from a general web development framework, then you're very good to go. But if not, it would be nice for you to have skills in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that's general web knowledge, and also skills in MySQL programming. So these are the skills that you will need for you to be able to get yourself up and running. Again, you can find courses on YouTube and FreeCodeCamp, which will help you get yourself up and running to get started with Laravel framework. We are coming to the end. We've come to the end of this episode. Let's see what we should remember before we leave this series. The first thing is you want to ask yourself, what is the Laravel framework? You can obviously go back and look at it. What is the Laravel framework used for? What is MVC? What is model view control and how does it work? At least an understanding of it will help. Why should I use or learn Laravel framework for web development? Remember, I gave 10 points which you can work on. Now, what are the prerequisites for you to learn Laravel development? What do you need to learn Laravel development? It's okay if you don't remember all of this. It takes some time, but then as we go on to this course, we go on to subsequent series episodes on this course, I'm sure you get to understand them better. The next episode will be setting up your Laravel environment and the Laravel file structure. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode of Learn Laravel the Easy Way.